Hello there, I'm Thi Dương, and this week's Culture Mosaic is a lineup of fascinating cultural and arts news story coming to you from Vietnam. First off, have you ever heard of charcoal cast irons? It's basically the precursor to our modern iron. We'll meet with a collector in Khánh Hòa province who's passionate about these age-old rooster-shaped irons. Then we sit down on the mic to chat with a Norwegian architect who is working along with local Hmong villagers in Hà Giang province, collaborating on a community-based construction project. Then, talking about community, we head over to Quảng Ninh province in the north of the country to see how locals there are promoting their own tourism industry. A collection of charcoal cast irons in Khánh Hòa province. Norwegian architect and action for the Linh Bám project. And Quảng Ninh promotes community-based tourism. Gai Rang's Floating Market Festival was held in Cần Thơ City from July 7th to 9th. Boats full of fruits and the treats from the rural Mekong Delta region and stalls showcasing traditional crafts of the villages in the region were the highlights at this year's festival, contributing to creating a new look and more professional image for the tourists about this area. The boats are now just not a place where people earn their livelihood, but also a tourism service, introducing the culture of the floating market. Hanoi has implemented many initiatives to improve the local tourism industry, one of them being a service that features a double-decker open-top bus offering tourists a new way to explore the city. Known as the City Tour, this service follows a loop route that starts at the Hanoi Opera House and takes tourists to the city's famous destinations such as the Temple of Literature, the Thăng Long Citadel, or the Trấn Quốc Temple and the Old Quarters. The double-decker bus is equipped with Wi-Fi and devices that secure wheelchairs to the floor, making it accessible to those living with disabilities. Currently, only one bus has been put into use, and 9 more buses will be provided in the next 2 months once the service is officially launched. The lotus flower is a symbol of Vietnamese culture. However, not many people actually pay attention to the leaves of the lotus flower. Recently, conical hats made from lotus leaves have become a new and unique souvenir that has attracted the attention of many tourists. We'll get a chance now to learn more about this new product in the following report.
Ý tưởng với nó là sen, bắt nguồn từ những bức tranh là sen. Khâu đi hái lá sen thì mình phát hiện ra được những cái ngọn lá sen nó có những cái hình thành chữ nón, nên bắt đầu từ đó mình về triển khai để xử lý lá sen như thế nào để cho hoàn chỉnh rồi cho ra một sản phẩm nón lá sen như ngày hôm nay.
After countless experiments, 29-year-old Nguyễn Thanh Thảo, a graduate of the Huế Fine Arts College, finally succeeded in using lotus leaves to make conical hats. Thảo had to soak the lotus leaves in Java water, dry them, and then flatten the leaves with an iron. The processed leaves were then given to artisans in the An Hoa Conical Hat Craft Village to be made.
So với nón truyền thống về nón này là nó đòi hỏi là cái kỹ thuật mình cao hơn. Cái lá này là nó rất là khó, cho nên mình phải làm là kỹ lưỡng hơn và nó chậm hơn cái nón kia.
The conical hat is then topped with a coat of polish and then dried. The final product has become a unique souvenir for tourists when they visit Huế.
Using the art of photography is a good way to promote the country's beautiful image around the world. In the following story, we have a chance to contemplate the beauty of Vietnam's people and landscapes through pictures captured by Vietnamese photographers living in Germany. This is how the Viet Photos Berlin Photography Club is introducing Vietnam to our German friends.
terrace fields in Sabah, and the ethnic people's portraits in the northern mountainous region. A vibrant Hanoi by night, the central region coasts, floating market in the Mekong Delta, and a modern Ho Chi Minh City. These are photos on display at an exhibition in Masan, East Berlin, co-organized by two photography clubs, Viet Photos Berlin and German Fotogruppe Elektron. All of these photos were taken by members of Viet Photos Berlin Club during their visits back to the homeland in Vietnam.
Wie soll ich sagen, die Fotos sind von der Qualität her sehr gut und vor allen Dingen es ist Neuland. Die Objekte sind für uns Neuland. Ich war noch nie in Vietnam, andere Fotofreunde waren auch noch nie in Vietnam.
Established in 2005, Viet Photos Berlin Photography Club gathers amateur photographers who are all Vietnamese people living in Germany for decades. The club has become the core factors contributing to the establishment of several online newspapers and media platforms among Vietnamese community in Germany. Phạm Mạnh Cường, chairman of Viet Photos, and a few members of the club had a chance to visit Trường Sa Islands a few years ago. Back to Germany, the club had held photo exhibitions and talks about these meaningful trips.
Thì sắp tới cái câu lạc bộ chúng tôi sẽ kết hợp với các nước bạn để có được những cái phòng treo ảnh như thế này, và đồng thời sẽ tổ chức nhiều hơn nữa, và cũng sẽ muốn kéo cái cộng đồng Việt Nam vào một cái mảng như thế, tức là mỗi một cái mảng về mô hình nghệ thuật thì tôi muốn cố gắng để làm sao để cho cái đời sống tinh thần của bà con nó phong phú hơn.
Viet Photos Photography Club is among about 130 groups and clubs of Vietnamese community in Germany. Over the past years, the club members have had their own exhibition or joint exhibitions in Germany, organized photography contests to promote the image of the friendly and open country and the people of Vietnam.
No one knows exactly when people began to press cloth, but before electric irons were widely used, these charcoal cast irons were an essential part of every Vietnamese home. The vintage iron with a rooster-shaped lock brings back memories of the past for older Vietnamese people. Falling in love with the unique shapes and designs of charcoal cast irons, Mr. Nguyễn Như Ánh in Khánh Hòa province has spent his life collecting hundreds of these irons. In this week's edition of Culture and Lifestyle, we travel back in time and learn more about the charcoal cast irons through Mr. Ang's collection.
If you ask people what this vintage item was, what would they say?
Trông nó giống con gà ấy. Chứ cũng chẳng biết cái gì.
Bằng ủi con gà.
À, cái này là cái bàn ủi. Cái thời của cô là sử dụng cái này là cái bàn ủi con gà.
It's a iron from the last century, iron machine for clothes. Has come from France because this little cockerico.
This charcoal iron is one of more than 100 irons in the collection of Nguyễn Như Ánh.
Về sưu tập bằng ủi con gà thì nói chung là tình cờ thì thấy con gái của người bạn á, là sử dụng bằng ủi than này. Mình thấy lạ, ủa thời buổi này sao con còn dùng bằng ủi than này? Nói không là chú ơi, bị cúp điện rồi. Từ đó mình có một gợi gì đó mình kỷ niệm. Thì tự nhiên mình nhớ lại cái thơ ấu của mình. Mới đầu mua 1-2 cái để mình tượng trưng mình chơi thôi. Nhưng mà sau khi mình mua xong rồi, có những cái là nhìn kỹ thấy khác nhau. Ví dụ như khác nhau về hoa văn, rồi về cái chốt mở, khác nhau về trọng lượng. Đó, tự nhiên nó kích thích mình. Bây giờ chưa có cái nào thì mình mua thôi. Ra số lượng cứ tăng dần lên hơn 100 cái. Cái lễ con gà là biểu tượng cái Pháp là sao, thành ra xuất phát từ Pháp. Về cấu tạo bằng ủi con gà thì nói chung nó có cái cơ bản nhất của bằng ủi là cái chốt hình con gà, thành ra dân gian mình cứ kêu con gà cho nó tiện. Đó, chốt hình gà này mà mất là không bao giờ mình mở được cái này hết. Đó, mở được cái chốt này hết. Đó, phải cầm nó chỉ hở là gì. Là cái chốt theo tôi nghĩ là cơ cấu tạo nó rất quan trọng. Chốt mở con gà là gần như là 90%. Muốn mở cái bằng ủi thì chúng ta đẩy con gà về phía trước và chúng ta mở ra, chúng ta bỏ than vô. Là sau mình muốn mình đóng lại, rồi mình gạt cái chốt gà ra sau thì bằng ủi nó sẽ khóa. Quan trọng để cho than nó hừng hay không là nhờ những cái lỗ thông hơi đây. Thì cái lỗ thông hơi này giúp cho than lúc nào cũng hừng, lâu lâu mình phải quạt. Còn không có lỗ thông gió này là than bỏ cho nó tắt liền. Cái bằng ủi này con gà sử dụng hồi nhỏ là bị đòn bị đòn nhiều là do cái này, với hai là quần áo hư nhiều. Cho nên chú ý khi ủi á, là thứ nhất nó quá nóng, cho nên lúc nào người ta có một cái miếng vải bên cạnh, ta ủi thử, ta rờ có nóng không người ta mới ủi, nhất là đồ có ni lông bỏ vô là nó teo lại liền. Hai nữa là than nó dễ bị rớt mấy cái lỗ này dễ bị rớt là làm lũng quần áo, rất nguy hiểm. Áo hồi xưa là thường người ta ủi với cái ve áo ở dưới trước, lỡ nó có lũng thì bỏ vô quần thì không sao, trên này người ta ủi sau. Thơ ấu mình đã sử dụng, bây giờ khi mà lớn lên đó mình mới cảm nhận được nó không phải là một cái kỷ niệm thơ ấu nữa, nhưng mà nó kỷ niệm về hình ảnh của người mẹ khổ nhọc, rất khó khăn. Để sử dụng bằng ủi này là dùng hết cho cả gia đình, công lao lắm mới cảm nhận được cái nỗi khó khăn của người mẹ. Thế hệ sau này 9X trở lên chắc nó không biết. Thì ra mục đích chúng tôi sưu tầm ủi này cũng cho giữ lại gì đó một cái kỷ niệm về cái đồ gia dụng, cái bàn ủi con gà là như vậy.
Culture Mosaic is a weekly journal here on VTV International, looking to give you, our viewers, the latest scoop on the culture scene here in Vietnam. Whether it be the diversity and richness of century-old heritage or the dynamic and exciting vibe of the modern Vietnam, we hope to bring you the many facets of the cultural and artistic soul here in the country. So don't go away, as we have many more news coming your way. Now, what you see here is actually drawings of Mông people in Lung Tam village in the northern province of Hà Giang. They are also part of an architectural design. In this edition of On the Mic, we'll get a chance to chat with Norwegian architect Alexander Fruens, who, together with his team, is working on a special project called Action for Lung Tam. Those simple drawings that you see here will be included in an architectural design for a community-based construction in Lung Tam village. We'll learn more from Alex in the following about his combination of community and architecture in the following.
Drawing, making models, and constructing, all are made by local people with architects as supporters. This is a model of community co-design architecture, which is being popularized throughout Asia by the Norwegian architect.
My name is Alexander Eriksson Furnes. I am an architect. I've been working on community-based projects for up to almost 10 years now in different countries. I came to Vietnam 2 years ago, but have been going back and forth for almost 4 years. Ever since I started working in the Philippines. We want to enable the community to take ownership of each decision and each choice that we make when we build our buildings. Together with the community defining, using drawing to kind of bring ideas into a physical output, an idea. Again, using models to transform an idea into space and testing these models in full scale on the site. The other one is the construction site. And it's an opportunity for us and the community to really explore what kind of construction knowledge do we have. I mean, this is a local carpenter teaching some of the fathers and also my partner there, Trond.
Bringing architecture closer to the community has always been a passion for Alex. He says magic happens when the community comes together to solve a common need or challenge.
Thank you, Alex, for joining our show. How did you combine community and architecture in your project?
I think what's interesting is that everyone builds and everyone has an idea of what a building should do. So everyone is, in a way, an architect. Obviously, we have some knowledge being architects, but also communities are experts on their own life. And I think what this process enables us to do is to create a platform where the community and us can work together, sharing what we know with each other to create something that really matters at the end. And because the building is something that they will be using in the future, because the building should be serving their needs, it's really crucial that the community is a part of creating this architecture.
His passion for engaging communities in creative design and construction began 10 years ago. Alex has organized similar architectural projects in many countries. The Study Center project in Tacloban, the Philippines, won the Architizer A+ award in 2012, the largest awards program in the world for the year's best architecture and products. The center, which was co-designed and constructed by orphans, teachers and local residents, impressed professional architects around the world.
Why did you decide to launch your first community architecture project in Vietnam with the Lung Tam handmade linen and textile in Hà Giang?
What we saw in Lung Tam was a community running a very important initiative. This initiative has existed for 16 years and it supports women within the village to empower them to create linen textiles and make their own living, which I think is a very important, is an empowerment project for the women in that village. When you see a project like this that already exists, there's a potential for us to step in and support, reach their goal, I think. And they're willing to share with us everything from how they make the linen textile to how they do the batik painting. But I also think that one story that really fascinates me and that really connects with me is how they build their houses traditionally, because I am an architect.
What is the villages, the ethnic groups, architecture, traditional architecture that differs from other countries?
There's a lot of fantastic vernacular architecture in Lung Tam. What's unique, I think, to Hassan is, one of the typologies that I've seen is the rammed earth structures. They compact earth that is on their land and they build their house from it. And then they will take trees from within their field and use as roof structure within that. So it's a very simple but also very local. This is what they did traditionally. I think it's less of it now, but it's also something that really works well with this idea of how the community can come together and use the resources that are already there.
Action for Lung Tam is the crowd-sourced project to exploit the potential of Lung Tam handmade linen fabric and textile. This is also the first community architectural project for Alex in Vietnam. The project, launched 4 years ago, has 10 official members. The members are architects from different countries who hope to bring architecture closer to the community.
Ngay khi mà trao đổi cái phương pháp làm việc của Alex thì mình đã thấy rất là ấn tượng, và đối với công trình cộng đồng là công trình phục vụ cho nhiều người, không thể dùng cảm quan thiết kế cá nhân của kiến trúc sư để mà áp đặt, mà rất cần cái sự làm việc gắn kết với tất cả những cái người mà người ta sẽ được trực tiếp sử dụng.
For us, I think what's really interesting about projects like this is that you get to understand what architecture means to people. Because normally if you're working on a high-rise project or on a very sort of luxurious house, at a certain point it all becomes about the wishes only of the developer or of the very rich client. So when you're working on projects which are sort of a little bit more basic, a little bit more humble, I think the value that people place into the architecture is sort of more in tune with how we are as human beings, I think.
The 10 members of the project, along with volunteers, are now in the project's second phase, making models with the villagers.
So you have a very different way of collecting people's opinions and ideas for the project, which is through drawings. So how did you process and incorporate those drawings, those opinions into your project?
Just to explain why we're using drawing. We're also using model making. We're using all the different tools that we normally use as architects to develop the projects for ourselves. We're doing this together with the community, so they also can engage in using these tools to define something that matters to them. And the drawings is a way to bring an idea down to paper so we can actually discuss together what is it that this idea is about. There is tricks to like how to get people more comfortable about putting the pen on the paper. And one example is the circles. You draw a frame and ask the person to draw within that frame, because then somehow it's not so intimidating as a blank paper. I think what's interesting is not the specific drawing, but how drawings come together. Where you can find something common between the different drawings that each of the members make. And what we could see in common of the different drawings are made here is that it's not so much the building itself that's the most important, it's how the building interacts with the environment. Here you see the house within the location of where it's placed, in the nature, in relation to the fields where they harvest their linen batik textiles. And it's not specifically as one solution in that one drawing, but it's how you see the different drawings trying to communicate something in common. These are drawn by everything from members of the community up to the age of 73 years old to members of our group and children. And that's the thing, that drawings are ageless.
Again, thank you very much for joining our show.
Under Alex's instruction, locals are learning how to design their dream cooperative house. As planned, they will be trained by professional architects in building the house.
During the process of co-designing a work, locals get the chance to let their voices be heard and explore their potential. We hope that when the project is done, the craft village can also promote the development of 3 neighboring villages.
Alex hopes to receive more support from individuals and organizations to help build a center that features the Lung Tam community and contributes to the development of local life.
Farm work comprises of chores such as rice grinding, rice pounding, and fishing, and they are the daily work of farmers. But they're now slowly becoming tourism experiences that attract many foreign visitors. Tourists, particularly with urban backgrounds, are increasingly interested in getting dirt under their nails and experiencing rural life. In this week's edition of Connecting Cultures, we'll get a chance to go down to Yên Đức village in Quảng Ninh province to see how foreigners there are enjoying a day as a Vietnamese farmer.
Visiting rice fields, pounding rice, or catching fish by hand.
I think I just found one. It was really fun.
I was excited for him, and then I knew I had to catch my own, so it was just trying to get hold of it. They're so slippery.
Got it. A little messy, but it was nice. It's kind of exciting.
Have you ever tried something like this?
No. No, do I look like I have?
Never seen
No, we're very
fishing like
inexperienced, but it's good, and I'm happy I was able to get some. Kind of exciting, but I don't normally have to grab fish with my own hands, so that was new for me. So It's good.
You almost feel sorry for the fish.
A little bit.
Just a little bit, though, until supper time.
You can feel the vibrations of the fish, and then when you reach around, you feel like a tail, or you feel the head slip by your hand, and then you have to grab them. And they're really, really slippery, so you have to grab them really well.
These are familiar activities to any farmer, but a novel experience for these two foreign tourists. To get an insight into local culture, visitors can experience a homestay service. Living in an authentic Vietnamese house lets them observe life in the countryside and interact with locals. This is the 8th year Ms. Nguyễn Thị Dương has opened her home to welcome tourists. The 185-year-old house is one of the few oldest remaining houses in Yên Đức village.
Feeling's been absolutely amazing because I grew up in a city, so I love green because I was deprived of it when I was younger, and the greenery around here is just amazing.
We had no idea what to expect when we came here, so it was kind of exciting to hear about everything that we were going to do. And what we really wanted to do when we came to this area is see the local culture and how people live now, and the work that goes into it. And we haven't had that experience anywhere else in the world, to really be involved this way and see how they made the rice and see how people live and the homes and how they fish. So that's what's really great.
Located in Quảng Ninh Province, Đông Triều District, beautiful Yên Đức village is ideally located between Hanoi and Hạ Long Bay. Besides joining farming activities, tourists can enjoy a water puppet show, an entertaining way to learn more about the country's folk culture.
This is my first time in Vietnam, and it's so beautiful, and my first water puppet show as well. It was so colourful and entertaining. I didn't understand everything that was happening, but it was still so fun, and I loved all the music. Such a good way for us to see, local customs.
Community-based tours were first introduced in Yên Đức village in 2011. At that time, this tourism model was a new concept here. However, after 7 years, community-based tours have greatly benefited local people. Now they are the ones who introduces local tourism products to international friends.
Người dân có thể hưởng được nhiều lợi ích từ du lịch, như là đường làng ngõ xóm rất là sạch sẽ này, có cái lớp tiếng Anh miễn phí cho trẻ con này. Bản thân người dân địa phương người ta có công việc rất là ổn định, thu nhập ổn định hàng tháng, mà không như một số cái vùng quê khác ở Việt Nam ấy, người trẻ luôn luôn phải đi đến những thành phố lớn để kiếm cái công việc mà lúc nào cũng phải sống xa người thân, xa quê hương. Thì cái công việc cái du lịch cộng đồng này nó mang cái lợi ích rất là lớn để phát triển du lịch của vùng, với cái kinh tế của vùng.
Community-based tourism in Yên Đức village is one of the most effective models of its kind in Quảng Ninh Province. Services here received the Certificate of Excellence by TripAdvisor 3 years in a row. In the first half of 2017, the village welcomed 18,000 tourists and expects to attract more in the future to experience this new kind of tourism.
And that is also the end of our program. If you would like to provide any feedback or comment on anything you've seen here on Culture Mosaic, please feel free to write to us at vtvinternational@vtv.vn and make sure to include both your name and address. You can also log on to our website at vtv4.vn or our YouTube channel at vtv4go for more of our program. And don't forget to join us next week for another episode of Culture Mosaic. Until then, goodbye for now.